Welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at the city of Singapore. So let's get to it. So when you arrive in Singapore, you'll arrive at the immigration, and there are two lines. There's one for citizens of Singapore, permanent residents, and special long-term pass holders. And they get to go quicker through immigration because they already have all their information stored, and they just have to scan their passport and they're through. And the others are including international travelers, and the process is you just scan your thumbs, and then they take a picture, and then you can pass through. You just have to remember to fill out that immigration form which you get on the plane. You just have to fill out your name, passport number, and flight number. So keep that boarding pass, and your address where you will be staying in Singapore. So that was quite quick, and then you notice this ad for the iPhone on top of the immigration. So that's to advertise, I think, the Apple store in Singapore. It just opened 2 months ago. Since then, it's on Orchard Road, and it's a 2-story building, and it's really nice. We'll get to that later. But for now, so when you arrive at the terminal, you go through immigration, and then you get your luggage at the carousel, or if not, you don't. If you only have carry-on luggage, and then you can take the MTR or MRT, the Mass Rapid Transit, the metro train. You can take from the Terminal 3 all the way to the city center of Singapore. But first you should get some cash at the ATM, because you will always need cash. In this case, to buy the card, this card, which you can use to go on the subway or the MRT. And you can fill it up, you can top up as much as you want, but this card costs 12 Singapore dollars, and you only can pay by cash. So before you go to the train station at the Terminal 3, make sure you have cash, get some cash at the ATM machines all over the place. I would suggest you get between 100 and 200 Singapore dollars when you're traveling on your own, because you will always need the cash to buy small things that you cannot pay by card. So once you have the cash, then you can go to the train station and purchase this card. It's called Nets Flash Pay, and it costs $12 Singapore dollars. And you not only can use it for the train, but you also can use it in several stores in the city and restaurants, and I think Starbucks also you can use this card. So if you want, you can top up this card with more cash. You have $12 on it, but the train to the center will cost 5 or 6 Singapore dollars. So it's enough for 2 train rides. So if you want to ride the train more often, then you can top up this card at the cashier of the MRT station. So once you get that, you can go past to go on the train. The train is called the East-West line. It's the green one. It will, in my case, I went to Orchard Street. So that's the green line. You take all the way until City Hall Station, and City Hall Station you change to the red line, which goes to northwest. So it will pass through Somerset and then to Orchard. So the Changi airport is quite far from the center. Well, not that far, but it takes around 45 minutes by train from Terminal 3 until the Orchard Street. But it's quite seamless. You only have to change once at the City Hall station and then you are already there. So once I arrived at Orchard Street, when I came out of the station, I noticed it was so noisy. I don't know what's going on. Is there a live concert on the street, or are there people shouting, or I don't know, but it was really noisy. And it turned out, when I got closer to the street, it turned out the noise was all from thousands of birds which were sitting on the trees, because like on Orchard Street they have many big trees with branches all over the street, all along the street, and there were really many birds making noise on the street. So although the street was full of cars and people, the loudest noise you hear was from those birds. I don't know what kind of birds they were, but there were really thousands of them, and it was quite loud. I never heard anything similar like that anywhere else. But anyway, all that noise was from the birds around, which were hanging and flying around in the branches of the trees or somewhere there. But anyway, first thing I noticed is the sidewalk of the walking path. The sidewalk for people walking on it is very wide, almost the same width as the road itself. So it's really nice walking along, and all along there are trees, and then there are shops, there are buildings. So the first place where I wanted to go, of course, is the Apple store, which just opened 2 months ago, and that's on Orchard Road. So it's not far from the Orchard station. It's just about 5 minutes walk down the road, and I saw the Apple store from across the street, and it looks really, really nice. It's the front facade is all out of glass, and it's 2 stories. Downstairs is like the main selling area where they have the Macs, the iPhones, the iPads, and some accessories. And on the upper floor is like the place where they do the technical assistance, like when a customer purchases a new laptop or a new iPhone and they need to set it up, then they do that upstairs on the upstairs floor, which is more like a bit like a office slash sitting area slash technical assistance area. But they also have some accessories upstairs and products for sale. But most of those things are downstairs, and upstairs people can talk with the technicians or get some advice or sit down or charge devices. And there's also free Wi-Fi, of course, in the whole Apple store, and it's very well presented. And I went upstairs to get the battery case for the iPhone 7, and if you want to look the review of the battery case, I'll put the link at the end of the video. It's the Apple battery case, so that you can almost double the battery power of the iPhone. So by the time I came out of the store, it was already dark, because it was already around 8 o'clock, and so 7:30, I think 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I went back outside of the store and was looking for a place to eat, and I found a place to eat. I got some some spaghetti meatballs, I think, and fresh apple juice. But I think the apple juice was a bit strong, but it was without sugar, but it was still quite sweet and a bit sour, I think. So then I walked along the street because my hotel was down the street. It's about I think 15-minute walk, and all along the street you can see the lights and there was some kind of festivities going on. There was like in front of the museum that some candles lit. I'm not sure. I think it's for some kind of peace for the world or something like that. So when I arrived at my hotel. It's a small hotel on the side road called Victoria Hotel. It's one of the cheapest hotel I could find in the city center. But I think next time, if I would choose one, I would try those new hotels, which are like a pod where they are like it's a room with maybe 24 beds, double beds, like on top of each other, but you have like a curtain to have some privacy, and the bathroom is also commune, but it's large and it's very clean, and you have your own pod. Of course, you won't be alone in the big room, so there will be maybe, I don't know, 20 other people, but you have your own cupboards which can be locked and things like that. But I will try that next time. But this time I just had a room for myself. But next time I will try the pod. So that was the first day, and I didn't do anything else after that. So later, next day I had breakfast at a Starbucks nearby. It was just around the corner. So I had when Starbucks in Singapore, they have slightly different Danishes. So they don't have my favorite, which is pain au chocolat. A chocolate croissant, which they have in Indonesia, but not, and in Hong Kong, but not in Singapore. They have like some kind of chocolate twist Danish, but it doesn't taste the same like a chocolate croissant. So I just had that and a banana. Well, they sell bananas in Singapore Starbucks, but they don't sell bananas in Indonesia Starbucks. So that I liked. I like banana, so I had the banana too and a vanilla latte. After breakfast, I walked around and I saw the National Museum. The National Museum was there, and I thought the entrance was really cheap. I was surprised. It was something like 10 Singapore dollars, which is like, I don't know, $5 US or something. But anyway, it was really cheap to go to the National Museum. And then in the National Museum they show the history of Singapore, which is very interesting. But yeah, Singapore is, it's not really very old. Yeah, it doesn't have very long time history, because I think it only exists since 75 years or something like that. I'm not sure. I have to look it up, but I think it's less than 100 years old, I think. But they have interesting things exposed. They have like a tank, and they have bicycles, and a beca, which is like a people carrier on bicycle wheels. We still have those in Indonesia, but it's not. But it's like a bicycle, and on front the people are sitting, and you can write those here in several cities, like in Yogyakarta or in Surabaya. They have them, so they still exist here. But in Singapore, not anymore. They don't have that. One thing I noticed of the National Museum is only about Singapore, so you won't find any history about surrounding Asian cities or countries. So I was expecting some history about other neighboring Southeast Asian countries, but there was none. There was only about Singapore on the ground floor and upper floor, but in the underground there was also a few halls, but they were closed. So I think they have sometimes expositions there, but only temporary. So the permanent expositions are upstairs, but it's only about Singapore, which is interesting. But you won't find any artifacts or history about any other countries nearby. So that was that, and they also have something like a story of the forest. It's like a room with like a 3D room, but it's like all over the wall. So it's like those cinemas but this is about the story of the forest. So I spent some time in the museum and walked around, and then the Wi-Fi in the museum is the fastest Wi-Fi I have ever experienced, and that was completely free. So if you want to upload a large video to YouTube, just go to the Singapore Museum and it will be uploaded in a few seconds. It's really, really fast. I was surprised. I never had such a fast Wi-Fi. So when I came out of the museum, I walked around the park. Well, the museum is like on a park, yeah. So behind the museum there's like a park on a hill. So and there are many trees, and this is the first time I saw an escalator outside. So it's an outdoor escalator on the hill of the park. I never seen that before. I don't even know how they made it waterproof. I mean, it's exposed to rain, so that escalator must be somehow waterproof. Although it's running, yeah, it's working, and it's outside. It's on the hill. So I took that escalator up a small hill, and then with the park, and that's the Fort Canning Park in Singapore. So you can walk all around. It's really, really nice, and you also have a bit of a view of the main road down the hill. And it's quite hot. It was really nice weather. It was perfect weather to make pictures and do some videos. And the trees, they are also very old. You can see like this example here of a tree. It must be over 100 years old. And it was really, really nice. So I went around the park, and somehow I ended up somewhere inside, and there was I ended up in Fort Canning Center, where there happens to be an exposition, a Lego exposition. I used to play Legos when I was small, so of course I'm going to visit the Lego exposition, and this was called Pieces for Peace, something like that. No, it's called Piece of Peace. I mean, peace like a Lego piece, of peace like the opposite of war, so peace. World is called the World Heritage Exhibit built with Lego bricks. That was actually more expensive than the entrance fee for the museums. So, but anyway, I went to see it, and they had all the world's most famous buildings or architectural structures made out of Lego. So they have like the pharaohs of Egypt. They had like the Chinese wall, the Great Wall. They had like the temple in India, at the Eiffel Tower. They had the I think several buildings from Thailand, from South America, from Spain, I guess, Barcelona, and from London, the what you call it, the London Tower, and from China, of course. And at the end, there was a Lego City with I think it looks like it could be Singapore. I'm not sure, or it could be just Fantasy City, maybe. But anyway, that was very interesting, and then so I continued. I saw all of that expo, and then I went outside. I was looking for the Hive in Singapore. That's a co-working space which is all over Asia, also in Hong Kong and in Vietnam, in Bangkok, I think, and also in Singapore. So I wanted to go there to just have a look and rent a desk for a day to work on either editing videos or browsing the internet if they have any job positions in Singapore. But when I arrived there, I went through the park again, and then I went through River Valley, which is very nice, and I continued to Tanjong Pagar, which is near where the co-working space is located, but unfortunately on that day it was closed. I guess the one who rented the office, they have their access code, but I don't have an access code, so I cannot get in there. So I guess for outsiders it's only open during the week, and for all the others who have their rented the space there, they can access the place even on weekends. So when that was closed, I walked around a bit along that area. I think that's close to the CBD, so it's more like the office area instead of the city center. So I think in this area, which is also very nice, and it's the first time I even saw a building which had a garden on 3 different floors. So that was quite amazing. I've never seen a building like that. It's on George Street, I think, called Park Royal, yeah, Park Royal. And so I had a sit down there in the park. I wanted to change the SIM to a local SIM. I got a local SIM, this one from Smart Hub, but it costs 32 Singapore dollars, and you have 4G. It's a prepaid local SIM card, and it says free 15 gigabyte local data and free 15 gigabyte local data. So I changed the PIN and it worked. I just had to figure out how to activate it, and you have to send a SMS to a special number or call any number for at least one time, and then it will be activated, and then you can use your phone and the internet locally. But this worked somehow only worked for one day, and I don't think I used up 15 gigabyte in one day, so I'm not sure about getting another one next time, or I need to ask more information. So I had the internet was working on the phone, so I continued walking in the park, and I think I went to the central business district because there weren't many people there. But anyway, I was going, I think, southeast of Singapore towards the Bay area, because I wanted to see those Bay gardens, which I always see on in magazines or something like that. So I was, oh yeah, and I saw there was a BMW i3, I think, the one which was in the Mission Impossible with the Tom Cruise, I think. You rarely see those. I think that's a hybrid. It's an electric car, but it has a petrol engine on the back to extend the range. I think so. I'm not sure. But anyways, it just passed. I just managed to get one proper picture of it. So then from there you can see that hotel, which has like a boat on top of it. Yeah, I don't really know the name of it. I think it's called Sand Bay Hotel or something like that. But it's quite impressive. I mean, you can see it from far. It's very, very nice. So I was walking around in that area and I made some pictures. I think those are all office buildings or banks. I guess they are all banks. And then there's like what you call it, a bay. Yeah, the Bay area. I think there was a marathon that day, because there were many people running all along the bay. There's like a sidewalk or bicycle path. And the interesting thing is bicycles and walkers and runners, they all run in the same path, but they get along with each other. Yeah, I mean, that's quite unusual, because normally many times in different cities there's one special path only for bicycles, there's a special path only for walking people, and they are separated. But here they are not really separated, but everybody gets along. I mean, the bikers get along with the walkers get along with the runners get along with the bicycles. So I'm surprised they don't mind sharing that walking area. So all around that sand-based hotel there's like a huge park, and you can walk all the way only for non-motorized vehicles. So sometimes you would see like electric scooters or those hoverboards, which are not hoverboards, which have two wheels. I haven't seen any electric skateboard but electric scooters are very popular there. Well, not very popular, but there are quite a few similar like in other big cities, like in Paris, also in some other European cities. But anyway, there were many people there joining the marathon that day. I think it was a weekend. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. But anyways, so I went to continued walking there to Marina Bay. I've seen those man-made gardens, which look like huge flower trees. And I think they're supposed to light up during the night, but I was there during the day, so I couldn't see the lights. But anyway, it was very nice. And I walked around there, and finally ended up in the area where they have this indoor garden they call the Flower Dome. There are two indoor gardens. This one, which is called the Sky Dome, which is like a garden and waterfall, and the other one is called the Flower Dome, which is only flowers. So first I went to the Sky Dome, I think, and it's really impressive. I think this is the largest indoor the largest indoor waterfall, largest indoor man-made waterfall, and the whole area is air conditioned. Can you imagine? And it's real air conditioned. Yeah, it's not like saying it's air conditioned and it's really hot inside. No, it was really nice and cool. So it was even more pleasant inside than outside. So yeah, it's quite impressive. It's the first time I've seen it. So, but there were really many people there. But there was no rush. Everybody was cool, and nobody was pushing or anything. Everyone was relaxed. And well, you can walk through that mountain, I guess, where there's the waterfall. But to go there, there were quite many people going there, and you had to wait in a line to go walk up the man-made mountain. And I mean, you can walk up there or you can take the lift. And both of them had lines, and so I decided not to walk up. I walked around the whole area, and I made some pictures and some videos, and it was really, really nice. By the time I got out of the Sky Dome, it was, I think, afternoon, early afternoon, so there was a place to eat just beside the Sky Dome, so I had some lunch there. And then I went to the Flower Dome. Yeah, the Flower Dome is also completely indoors and air conditioned, and the whole place has like, I don't know, maybe thousands of different kind of flowers and orchids, and I guess from all over Southeast Asia or all over the world, I don't know, but it's okay, it's not natural, but it's man-made, but it's really fantastic. I mean, if there's a way how to make a man-made flower garden, then this is how you do it. So really, really very impressive. I must say, I think this is something you must see at least once in a lifetime. It's very impressive. It's totally worth it to visit. But of course, a place like that attracts many visitors, and there were many visitors there. Maybe you want to go there on a normal weekday, so probably there will be less visitors, because I was there, I think, either Saturday or Sunday, so it was quite busy. But it was still okay. I didn't mind. It was quiet. Nobody was pushing. Everybody was all right. So I enjoyed it. So after I went out, I saw the marathon runners from before. They were still running, and all kinds of people, like not only professionals, sporty people, but also normal residents who like to stay fit, and I agree. I don't think I can run a marathon, but yeah, but you can train it. I mean, you can train in 6 months. You can train for a marathon if you really want to. But I would start off with a half marathon, 20 kilometers. That's you need to start step by step. Don't go full scale at once. But I think I can do a half a marathon if I train for it, but I'm not yet interested in it, but who knows, maybe one day. But anyways, I continued walking along the Marina Bay, and in the background you can see the big wheel. It's similar like the one in London, I think. It turns really, really slow. It's like a pod. but I saw it just from far. And then I made some pictures of that hotel boat, which is impressive. I mean, yeah, it's nice on the photos, but if you are there in person, you think it's a spaceship. Really, it looks like Star Trek or something like that. Yeah, in Star Trek, the top part would like lift off or something. It's like a hangar for a spaceship. It really looks like a spaceship if you are there in person. So that was really impressive. And then I continued my afternoon. It was late afternoon by that time. I continued in Marina Bay Sands. I think I've seen that already on many pictures. I don't know what's it called. But anyway, there's a mirror there, so I made a picture of that. It looks like that movie with that guy from, I forgot his name, but that movie was like, oh, he could travel back in time to prevent some kind of something happen. Interesting. If I remember the title of the movie, add it on the video. And there in that movie, there was also a scene where, like, a round mirror. I think it's a well-known statue or structure in a city of Chicago, maybe. I don't know. I'll, I'll name the movie later. So I continued walking, making some pictures, looking at the people, and going inside one of the malls there just to have a look. And then I noticed all around the city you find these bikes. They have them also in Paris and in other European cities where you can rent a bicycle and ride around it to the next station, and then you drop it off in like a special bicycle station where it's locked and electronically. But in Singapore, these bikes are all over the place and just you can use them. You just need to get the. I think you need some kind of card. I think you can probably use this digital payment card or something, or a bicycle city card, something like that. And then before you use it, you just use that to unlock the wheel, and then you can ride the bike for wherever you want, and then you can leave the bike there wherever you want for the next person to use that bicycle. I found that amazing. I mean, you only can find that in Singapore. Like, you leave after using the bicycle, you just leave it somewhere there somewhere on the sidewalk, or I mean, not of course not in the middle of the road, but you put it somewhere where it's safe for everyone else, and the next person who wants to use it just swipe the card on the bicycle frame, and then they can unlock it, and then they use it to go where they need to go, and then they just leave the bicycle for the next person who wants to use it in that area. So that's very innovative. But you couldn't do this in any other city, I think. I mean, not all city, maybe some other city, but not every city. But I found that very interesting. I probably would use it if I would be staying there, if I wouldn't have my own bicycle. But anyway, I made some very nice pictures on Marina Reservoir. There's this bridge for walking bridge, and there was a sunset, a very nice one. And I made a few pictures there with the background of the CBD. Yeah, there were quite many people, but not too many. It was really nice. So finally, I went back. On the way back. It's already starting to get dark. It's late afternoon, and I wanted to look. My battery power was already getting low because I made a lot of videos and pictures. And so last thing I wanted to see was the Timberland store, because I'm a fan of Timberland clothing or shoes. So there was one on the way, and I finally found it, and had a look at it, and it was good. There's some nice shoes now. They have a lightweight material. I think it's called Sensor Flex. Some are called Aero Core, and they're very light. I don't think they will last as long as the traditional soles, but if you don't use them every day, they probably will last longer. Anyway, I don't have any of those, but they are very, very light and they look also very comfortable. So that was the early evening of the second day, and after that I just went back to the hotel. I walked back, and the next day was my flight back to Bali. But it was only in the afternoon, so I still had time to walk around a bit before I took the MRT back to the airport. So I found a camera shop. Where was this? I found a camera shop on Orchard Road, which had this small microphone attachment for recording the voice, which you can plug into any headphone jack. And it was really cheap. It was I think it was 24 Singapore dollars, which is like 15 US dollars. So I bought one of those to make these videos. Just a built-in microphone. It's also good quality, but only if you speak directly into it. If you make a video like on front of the camera, it sounds better with the external mic. But anyway, I got that microphone, and then I was still hanging around in Orchard Road because my flight wasn't until afternoon. So I walked around a bit and then took the MRT back to the airport, which takes around 45 minutes also. So it was fairly quick. And at the airport I found a tripod. Yeah, I made a review of it, so if you want to see the review of it, I'll leave a link at the end of the video. Interesting thing, at the airport I've seen a small food stand which sold Irvin's salted egg. There was like a long queue in front of it. That's why I was curious what it was, but it's just salted eggs. But there were so many people waiting there. And the funny thing is, they didn't even have any salted eggs. It was empty. They sold so many that they didn't have any left. So all those people who were waiting in line, they were waiting for the new ones to arrive because they were sold out. I don't know what salted eggs are, but I was just curious why people were staying in line. But I didn't wait to find out how they taste. So anyways, that was my review. I hope you enjoyed the video and stay safe.